Yo, what's up, everybody? Real Estate Coffee Talk, episode 3.
Welcome back.
Got an awesome individual in the house, Chris Wendt.
I made it on episode 3?
Yeah,
Episode 3.
I'm honored.
Yeah, we're going to look back at this and be like, wow, this really blew up. Remember when that D-bag Wendt was on here, you know?
Exactly. I'm shocked that you guys wanted me out here.
I think this is going to be our episode, 'cause I don't know if there's a single person in the industry who doesn't know Chris.
Yeah, and you're not a D-bag. I'm just playing around here.
No, I am. I own it.
Appreciate you. This is public.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, I'm Chris. I'm the D-bag, in case you were wondering.
All right, D-Bag, tell everybody what you do.
Well, that'll be the first guest that looks in the camera and talks.
For you guys out there. I have been working in the real estate industry, specifically for a company called Exacta Land Surveying, for about, I'm coming up on 22 years. So yeah, I've been surveying land, not personally, but working for quite a long time. So it's been crazy. It's been crazy. On top of that, I try to put together some events to bring our industry together, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But I do land surveying. We are one with the land.
Sounds like a fun.
It's not.
Fun job.
No, it really isn't. We basically employ people that like to hang outside in the rain and do math. So you can imagine how exciting we are as an organization.
Yeah. I mean, math is fun, so it sounds exciting to me.
Fair enough. I mean, what is a survey for everybody out there?
Yeah, no. So we'll keep it simple. The nutshell version: a land surveying is a drawing that will show the boundaries of a property.
Okay.
Like literally, that is it. You can get a little bit more involved, and you can show the structures, exactly how they sit on the property, easements, so on and so forth. So anything that is encompassed in that legal description is what we will show on a survey, and yeah, that's really and truly what it is. I mean, people want to know how the properties sit. Everyone wants to know, where are my boundary lines? What do I own? Or what does the bank own that I am using? But yeah, that really and truly is what it is. Just to show everybody what exactly it is that they're sitting on. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I know in the time that I've been in the industry, I've never had to use a survey. I've never even looked at a survey. I barely knew what a survey was. Who are the people you work with? When do you need a survey? Is it when you buy a house? Is it just you randomly decide one day, I want to know what my boundaries or my property boundaries are? Who do you work with?
Sure.
When does it happen?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
No, that's a good question. And coming from the lending perspective, it doesn't really surprise me that you probably haven't seen our services in the past, because historically, lenders have been uninvolved in the survey process, whether it be ordering or whatever the case may be. Historically, title agencies would order the surveys, roughly 7 to 10 days outside of closing. And it wasn't until, a handful of years ago, let's stop there. When would you need the survey? They're required in the state of Ohio on any financed real estate transaction. They're called mortgage location surveys. It's a very watered down type of survey. They're relatively cheap. There are only a handful of companies that do this sort of work, simply because it really is a volume game. But with those mortgage location surveys, we are simply taking the existing legal description and anything that is of record and ensuring that that is in fact what is transferring. So we're going to send a crew out. Our methods with location surveys are I would say, kind of old school. We have clipboards and tape measures and pin finders. And, there's typically a checklist that our guys will work off of. Arrive at the property, verify that you're at the right place. You would be amazed at how often that can be, mistaken. Once you understand that you're at the right property, you try to find some sort of monumentation, whether it's a property corner pin, a street monument, whatever the case may be. And once you have that nailed down, you can start taking measurements and tie down the structures on the property, and we can show property buyers, title agencies, lenders, exactly how the structure sit on the property. And at the end of the day, what we're looking for with these location surveys are encroachments. Not that we want to find them, but we really need to show everybody what is truly, going on with the property. So property encroachments, violations, whatever the case may be. Most of them are minor and will not impact the deal at all, but every now and then you come across some pretty crazy stuff. So
Yeah, so I mean, I've definitely, I get the surveys sent to me most times through the title company, and oftentimes they have had encroachments on them. Would you say that's something super common?
What's an encroachment and what's an easement for everybody that's watching? Okay, let's get that out of there first.
an encroachment is an issue. It's a problem. If we want to know exactly what it is, Google is a wonderful tool for everybody out there. No, I'm kidding.
Go look it up.
Go look it up. It's spelled with an E and ends with ment. No, so encroachments. If we want to talk about the major encroachments, you're talking about a structure that has a foundation that is sitting over a property line. So that is going to be a driveway. We come across a lot of driveway encroachments. The ones that you want to worry about is when they're poured. So if we're looking at concrete or asphalt that is sitting over a property line, that's where we might run into an issue. We run into gravel drives that are encroaching all the time, and people get all worried about it. Oh, but it's the driveway that's encroaching. How do we fix this? It's pretty simple. It's called a rake. And I'm not kidding you. Like, I have these conversations with people. So the rule of thumb is anything immovable is going to be a problem. Structures that can be moved easily, don't even worry about it. Sheds, fences, gravel drives. Grab a rake, I'll do it for you. Here you go. Suddenly that encroachment it's a non-issue. But when you're going to have issues, like I said, if a foundation is over, I had a deal. This is funny. I started out in the field with Exacta years and years and years ago, and I came up to a development, and these houses were monstrous. So it was third trip of the survey. So everything is pretty much complete, and the way the lot was shaped, because it was on a cul-de-sac, this pie shape, but the back kind of kicked in a little bit, and they had this 3-story deck going in with a pool, and the deck was kind of built off the side of the house as well. So I'm measuring this stuff, and I've got my pins, and I actually had to run a line because I could not possibly, I couldn't believe that what I'm seeing was actually real, right? I'll never forget this. The deck itself was 32 feet over the property line.
Jeez.
Then I went back to the pool area.
32 feet?
32 feet.
We're not talking inches. We're talking
we're talking feet. Now, when I say this house was monstrous, this house was
LeBron James?
Monstrous.
Okay,
all right.
Cool.
I was in. A typical location survey is going to take any seasoned field crew about, let's say, 25 minutes in the field, right?
Yeah.
At the time, I was probably out there for about 3 hours because the place was A, that big, and B, things were just not adding up. The deck, way over. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, who made this mistake, The pool was then, you've got the pool itself, where it was poured was about 4 feet over, but then you have all the concrete, the foundation, everything around it. I'm like, you guys are in trouble. And they were in trouble. So we run into instances like that, not that bad, but it happens every now and then. And there's ways to make that go away. The lots around were vacant, so it's typically as easy as a phone call. Hey, lot owner next to me, we made a mistake. How about we cut a deal? I'm going to buy some land from you. You're going to charge me through the roof, and I get
question.
it.
Okay,
So
what happens if you don't have that though?
They didn't.
What are you going to do?
They were not so lucky. The landowner
Move
next to them,
the pool out, or
they had to tear down and start from scratch.
Jeez.
The pool came up. Everything had to shift over, and it cost these guys a mint. And meanwhile, I'm sitting back thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm that guy. Now, we don't want to find those things. Trust me, we're not out there hoping to find encroachments. We want everything to transfer clean, but it is in everybody's best interest to know what they're buying. I mean, these things aren't required on cash deals, all right? Which blows my mind. I understand why they're not, but as a property buyer,
I would
the
want
stuff
to know
that I've
that.
seen,
Yeah.
I need to be sure
Right.
that what I'm buying is in fact the case. I mean, it's funny. I joke around. You go out, you go to Best Buy, you buy a $1,500 fridge. What are you going to buy on top of that nobody balks at that they sell you? An extended warranty.
or filters? The filter subscription. They got me.
You got to go with the filter subscription. Everybody gets that
Home
subscription.
Depot, you did a great job.
Right.
And that's my backyard. Ask Sam.
you know, you want that reassurance as you know, as you're buying this major appliance that if something happens, you're going to be covered, you know, whatever. And those things are typically $300 or $400, right? That's a $1,500 fridge. I'm watching these guys, you know, pick up these properties for $80, $90, $100,000, paying cash. They have no clue what they're buying, and then they're turning their backs on a $185 survey. I'm like, let's see how this works out for you guys. When they run into issues, they waive the coverage, they're screwed. I mean, there's really, that's when things get a little bit hairy, and it's crazy how often it happens. But yeah, so it is in everybody's best interest, I think, to have these location surveys performed. And like I said, the finance deals, they are required. That's for you guys. The banks need to protect themselves. I get it. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, some of the stuff that we've seen. Like, beyond crazy.
Yeah, like I see it all the time where it's fences or a couple inches of the shed is hanging on to a person's property, and people start freaking out. Oh, and I'm like, it's a fence. You can move it. But then you sometimes run into the problem of whoever, if it's the neighbor's fence, I'm not moving my fence. But then you're losing what, a couple inches of your yard. I mean,
you want me to tell you a story about that? Because I have another one.
Go for it.
When me and my wife bought our house, this is going back about 9 years. We had to fence in the property before we closed because we had a dog who used to be a nice dog and then became not a nice dog. Just this giant boxer built like an I mean, he became ferocious. So we had to make sure that we fenced him in. So I go out there with a fencing company, and of course I've got my pin finder. We're going to do this right. I'm on one end of the backyard, and the guy from Medina Fence is on the other end. And I'm watching him scratch his head, and I looked over, and he goes, "Hey, surveyor boy, you might want to come take a look at this." I'm like, oh, this is not what I need. So I walk over there, and he's like, "What do you see?" I'm like, "Well, there's the pin, and there's their fence, and this is about to get really dicey. I do not want to introduce myself to my new neighbors as the guy that's like, hey, by the way, we're moving in next door, and your fence has to go." But I did, because their fence was over about 1.5 feet. We don't have a big yard, so that 1.5 feet, I mean, it actually, when you're talking about a fence, I had to put my fence about 6 inches away from theirs. We lost a little bit of room. We weren't willing to do that, so that was a pretty uncomfortable conversation to have. But they moved it. They were cool about it. Now we're friends. Everything's glorious.
There you go.
Yeah. But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to run into issues with the underwriters with fences because, like I said, you can move them relatively easily. Exactly what you just brought up, though, is the problem. You might have neighbors that get a little bit weird, and I have seen that bury deals in the past where, you know, people are just like, I can't live next to these psychos. Like, they're already causing issues, and it sucks. I mean, deals bomb. So, sorry, should I clean it up?
No, listen.
I'm just trying to be
We're
me.
all human. We're all human, and everybody's got that one family member, friend, or neighbor, whatever it may be.
This is very real surveying talk, not the fake stuff.
I'm just totally surprised that like not many people really like know about. Like, I literally, first time ever, I had a client the other day under contract. They're like, okay, so how do I order my survey? And I'm like, what?
Right. Right.
What are you talking about? Why are you worried about that? Nobody's ever been worried about that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know why people aren't, I guess, as worried as they should be. You know what I mean? There could be, so, I mean, and you've had your own experiences with needing survey. Well, I guess this was kind of after the fact. This was after your home purchase, but, you know, you've ran into your own scenarios with your neighbors and possibly needing a survey. And
Oh, 100%, and I'm going to get one because they're just, like I said, I love my neighbors.
Right.
I know a guy.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I mean, I do have 2 questions, though, for
Yeah.
you. Actually, they're loaded questions, probably.
Uh-oh.
All right, first,
Here we go.
how would a foundation get over somebody else's property line? I'm just, that's number one.
Sure.
And number 2, why wouldn't somebody want to take that watered down version, that cheaper version, knowing that everything's filed, and if nothing's changed, why would you need another like full blown survey?
Those are 2 good questions that I can't completely answer because honestly I have no idea. Other than to say question number 1 with the foundation, and like I said, it's rare but it happens, and it happens way too often. And the only thing that I can think is that it boils down to people maybe not paying attention the way they should. You know, listen, everybody's human. We make mistakes as surveyors. Everybody is going to make mistakes. Builders are no exception, you know. They're coming in, they're going off of what they're given. They have to rely on that information being accurate. Typically it is. And if it's not, anything that they're doing to that land can potentially shift and be off. If they just make a simple mistake, a miscalc, they can throw everything off, whether it's, 6 inches, a foot, 32 feet. It does happen. I don't think anybody, they're never done intentionally. Nobody wants to make any mistakes, especially to that extent. But, you better hope that you can address them and resolve the issue, ahead of time before it gets out of hand. But yeah, it's just human error. I mean, it really is, whether it's, like I said, who knows who it's on, but yeah, it's human error. And the watered down version of the surveys, I wish I could get in the heads of buyers, especially these cash buyers, and ask them, why are you, cash buyer.
Everybody pay attention to this right now. This is golden.
Yeah, no, it's cash buyers are typically buying for what reason? They're investment properties, right? And you want to cut every last cost, out that you can to, obviously make as much money as you can, get the most bang for your buck. But with a location survey, the issues that it can cause not getting one up front, finding out after the fact that there's a major issue with whether it's an encroachment or just something out of place that you didn't understand that you were buying. I mean, these things can really mitigate liability in so many different ways ahead of time. When we find issues, a lot of times what I like to do is I work direct with lenders now, as you know, and real estate agents. And the whole purpose to doing that was to capture the order up front so that when we find an issue, because like I said, we're going to, there's plenty of time before that closing that we can pull our heads together and figure out a solution to make that problem go away. And these are typically problems that are not going away in 3 days' time. They take us quite a bit of time to resolve, whether it's with splitting land. Yeah, if we have to, if we've got to go down that route with a neighbor, if we have to call up a neighbor and say, hey, we're going to buy a sliver of land from you, we're going to, and this is why, they almost always take that deal because that land's not usable anyway, so whatever. But to split that land, to rewrite those legal descriptions, have them filed, you're looking at about 25 days. So if we can capture the work up front, it's nothing more than mitigating liability on everybody's end. We protect the buyers. We're all here to protect one group, buyers and sellers of real estate, right? So if we can make one simple tweak that doesn't cost any money, in this case, ordering a survey up front versus, in the 11th hour, it can really put everybody's mind at ease and make sure that there's a seamless transfer. So that's what we do, But yeah, I wish I could understand why somebody would balk at that. It's $185. You reached into your pocket and grabbed $80,000, but
right.
not $185.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely think that that surveys can. I mean, you've mentioned it before. I mean, if you're paying in cash, especially if it's an investment property, you already know you're going to go in there and you're going to spend a ton more money. But then, okay, if a big portion of your house, like let's say something like the deck or there's a pool.
Sure.
I mean, then you may have had a set budget, and now your budget's gone, your profit's gone because you might have to completely move something that you would have known about in the first place had you just ordered a survey.
Exactly. You can find stuff ahead of time that could really and truly make you take a step back and say, you know what, this isn't the deal for me, and you can save yourself a lot of headaches and a lot of money. So, yeah, For me, I want to protect every one of my investments, and I don't care what it costs. I'm going to make sure that what I'm doing is, in fact, a good move, and I'm not going to leave any stones uncovered. And that's, like I said, that's what these surveys do. We uncover stones,
I feel like especially with like a lot of like out-of-state investors, like I feel like when you don't walk on the property physically, if there's something you could pick up just from like looking at it without it getting a survey, if you don't see the house, you can't see that stuff, and your tenant's not going to care. So, especially if you're making a cash offer on a house out of state and you don't get a survey, that's like crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, they're not required in every state.
But just to not get one to protect yourself if you're not seeing the property.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I mean, you're gonna buy a house and not have a home inspection. Right. Some people do. I think they're nuts. I mean, I can't.
We talked really prevalent now. It's really bad.
I cannot wrap my head around it.
We talked about this on our first episode. I think that's probably one of the worst decisions. I mean, I've seen it save people from massive structural
100%.
problems having to waterproof a basement, which could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Like,
I mean, that's
yeah,
yeah,
definitely something that some people should not overlook.
Just cover your investment. You know, inspections, surveys, everything, radon. I mean, you name it, you get it done. You have to have an appraisal done.
Well, you brought up a really good point. I don't mean to cut you off. You said that it takes sometimes, if you do have those encroachments, you have those, whatever it is, average 25 days, right?
Yeah.
Why would a title company wait until the 11th hour? And what can a future homeowner do to ensure that the title company is not waiting? Because clearly, the title company's, taking the reins here, and they probably shouldn't in this case then if they're not being proactive.
No, I'll tell you what, that's an awesome question, and it really makes because I talk about this all the time, and this is not the title agency's fault. They have been conditioned to do it that way, and that more or less came from us early on in the game when we were educating title agencies as to when to order the survey. And the problem was when the surveys come in way ahead of time. Like I said, it's a volume game, and these things are cheap. When you're talking about man hours that are involved and whatnot, you can find yourself underwater really fast if you have a lot of deals die. We don't charge for canceled surveys. I don't think any surveyor at this point charges for canceled surveys. So if that thing dies for whatever reason, guess what? That work that we did, we're not getting paid. So when they order the survey in the 11th hour, that's kind of an insurance for us that every piece has fallen into place. You've got, why would a deal fall apart potentially? Home inspection doesn't go well. Appraisal doesn't work out well. There are thoughts that buyers can lose financing. I'm sure you guys can speak to that all the time. Hey, guess what? I just bought a car.
No, we don't have that many problems, thank God, because we're very thorough up front.
Right. Yeah. So, we were running into a lot of deals dying, and, the margin on these things is not all that great unless you're doing a ton of them. So when deals die, we die with them. So we told the title agencies, wait until this thing is going to go.
Okay.
Within reason, obviously. Don't order it the day of closing. That's a problem.
Right.
But order them, trust that we're going to get the survey done. Our turnaround time is typically, 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Make us rush. We have no problem rushing. But then that opened up, obviously, a whole new can of worms in the sense that, oh, no, we just found this nasty encroachment, and the buyer found out at the closing table.
It's rare, though. You said it yourself. It's rare. So
it can be.
And we're all human, and we have to protect each other, right?
Sure,
we're all
sure.
a big team, right?
Absolutely. But, the problem was, and this is why I started working with lenders and real estate agents directly, we had quite a few deals that were falling apart at the closing table, and it sucked because you see all of the work that was going into things on your end as a lender, as an LO. The real estate agents, the buyers that are so excited about these houses, and boom, at the closing table signing documents, the heck is that? Why is there red on this piece of paper? That doesn't look like my lot. And before you know it, they're like, we're not comfortable buying this property anymore. Deals fall apart. So I said, hey, why don't we kind of assume, a little bit more liability on our end? We'll take the risk, but let's do the work up front because we're here to, like I said, protect buyers, sellers of real estate. And it's just a better way of doing business. It's a best practices, with surveying. Let's get the stuff done up front and do it right. And you know what? If the deal dies, okay. Hopefully it resurrects itself, further down the road, and we capture that work, and we can just reissue the survey. That's happened. So yeah, it really is a better play.
So you guys were doing the work. You were doing the survey, and let's say a deal falls apart. You weren't getting paid for that work.
We don't, and it still happens all the time.
Okay.
We account for about a 10% cancellation rate in our pricing. It's horrible. What did I do? What happened?
No, you're good.
No,
you're good.
we're listening.
Oh God, are you sure? I told
Yeah,
you.
I'm pretty
I told you it's boring stuff.
No, this is all great stuff.
Yeah, this is all
no,
great stuff.
we're no, thank you for all of
No,
that.
for sure.
Seriously. Yeah,
Like,
that was all great information.
Listen, surveys aren't sexy, but we're going to make them sexy.
That was all. It was,
I bet you're wrong.
that was all fantastic information that we definitely needed. I learned a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure.
Just because I'm not involved with it, you guys probably are too. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk all about the fun things that we have lined up in the very near future, and a little bit about what you do inside but outside of your business as well.
Oh, some exciting stuff. Thank God.
Sure.
Can't wait.
All right. All right, we are back. All right, now to the fun stuff.
Those were very kind words by our sponsors, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So let's see here. Bankers Cup. All right. It's been a ton of talking back and forth. It seems that every other day you guys are going back and forth. You're starting stuff. You're getting emotions all hyped. And Joel, you're gonna lose. Okay? Joel?
Oh, he's going to lose.
That's for roasting me on social media. Okay, remember when you roasted me on Facebook? You came over there, and then Sam kind of tagged in, and then Evan tagged in. Okay, well you're gonna lose.
Is this the golf swing?
And I'm gonna be there to see it.
No, it was when he
I'm just playing, bro.
it was like a live look at Dustin after
Oh yeah. When
was
he's got the IV bag.
bedridden.
That was funny. I'll tell you what, Joel may go 0 for 2 this year in Bankers Cup, hockey and golf.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to be there to laugh when you do, because you're not me, so you're not a winner.
There we go.
And Joel, I got better at golf. So
He showed up last year. He showed up
what? Joel?
to golf.
Golf?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good golfer.
Yeah, he showed up.
Yeah, he roasted us.
Yeah.
I got a chance. Front
He's
row
like, I'm
seat.
not that good. I'm just play a little bit.
You played that card.
Yeah, they're like birdieing every
They're like,
couple
okay, man.
eagles.
Yeah.
Nothing there, man.
The only nice thing I'll say about Joel, that kid can swing the sticks. It's you see, and you're fun to golf with too.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
We always have a good time.
Yeah, Wendt, you're really fun to golf with, especially with Saki. All right,
Oh,
anyways.
yeah. That'll be episode 4.
It's just strictly.
Me, golf, and sake.
I think that would make
like
it an
a
entertaining episode.
2-minute intro clip of Chris just running into somebody with a golf cart, and then it just cuts out.
But
And
let's.
he's holding the golf bag up.
So we've kind of already brought it up, but you are the creator of the Bankers Cup, and that consists of what, a golf outing as well as upcoming soon the hockey event.
The hockey game. Yeah, it started as a golf outing. This was back in, maybe 17 or 18. I think we're coming up on year 5. So I was out golfing with a couple of lenders. I was over at my club in Medina, and 2 groups wanted to golf against one another. Neither of them were good golfers, and I said, I'm in. I'm just going to go out and watch this gong show happen, So they went out, 2-man teams, and it happened to be, we finished up, and it happened to be during the President's Cup, which is one of my favorite tournaments. So we're having a couple of cocktails up on the patio, watching the tournament, and I asked these guys, I'm like, all right, think about what you just did out there, and look at the tournament that we're watching. Why can't we do this within our industry? And they kind of laughed and said, yeah, that's a dumb idea. Perfect. I'm in. So I wanted to, I wanted to structure a golf outing that was so outside of the normal real estate industry box, or any box for that matter. It's always the same 4-man scramble, which, don't get me wrong, are a lot of fun. I think 4-man scrambles are great, but every outing is the same. So I wanted to do something different. So I created like a Ryder Cup, and I allow only lenders to golf against agents. So 2-man teams, we play on a point system. I set them up with matches, and we have a really good time.
It's a blast. It's a blast. I mean, and it also helps with networking at the same time, because like I know you two were paired up with Joel and his partner for one of the days of the event, and
There's so many good things.
Yeah.
It's a great cause. It's a really fun time networking.
yeah, and I mean,
Checks all the
I met a handful of people that I've either talked to since then or attempted to write like contracts on their listings or whatever it is. I mean, it's just great time all around.
See, that was the key. With the Bankers Cup, you play the matches. You're forced to golf against people that you might not otherwise be able to get in front of.
Right.
So, 4-man scramble, you pick your team and you're out golfing with your friends, but
Right.
that's it. You may not see anybody else. With the Bankers Cup, you're going to see somebody else because you're going to compete against them.
Yep.
And that happens, quite a few times because, like I said, we play matches. And then we do the shootout, which is really funny.
Oh yeah, that was
I
definitely.
didn't make it to the shootout last year.
Yeah, I don't think
you
you're.
didn't make it to the 18th hole last year.
I didn't make it to the second round.
And I'm gonna what networking? Okay, we got roasted by Joel. It was just pretty much us walking with our tail between our legs the entire time, and just like worrying about, are we gonna even get within like 3 strokes of him on this hole?
Well, I'm sorry you had a bad experience on the networking aspect.
No, that was good. It was just there was no networking with Joe. There was just a butt whooping. That was it.
Good old fashioned.
Is he going to watch this, you think?
Well, he has to now.
We'll send it to him.
I can tell you guys right now, knowing Joel, the one thing that he's going to point out and comment on, he's going to say, oh, what are you guys drinking, boxed milk? Looks like you're in elementary school. I guarantee it.
Listen here, man.
And by the way, it's delicious and it's good for the planet.
Yeah, exactly. And if you post this on social media, they plant 2 trees, all right? We're behind a movement, okay? Don't die. That's the movement, okay?
They're the next sponsor of the Bankers Cup, the boxed water. We should get them out.
How cool would that be? That'd be awesome.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past you at this point. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, tell us about it, man. Like, why did you? I understand that you're like sitting there, but like, what's your true passion, man? Like, you've grown this thing, man. Like,
Yeah.
really grown this thing big.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So if we're going to be real for a few minutes, I struggled for years with everything. Don't get me wrong. I love my job. You don't last at a place for 22 years unless, you're into it and you can back it and, you have somewhat of a passion for it, which I do. But I used to talk to my wife all the time. I struggled with the fact that I didn't think I was really doing anything important. Does that make sense? I mean, what are we doing as surveyors? We're providing a required piece of the puzzle. Awesome. You guys as lenders, you guys are helping home buyers out, realize their dreams, helping them buy their dream homes. The agents, helping them find those dream homes. The surveyor, here's a drawing of some lines, and I didn't like it. And so I started, she told me, she's like, hey, why don't you you should do some charity work. I'm like, yeah, that actually sounds pretty awesome. So yeah, it was, after years of thought, the Bankers Cup was born, and it gave me, kind of the ability to, with our network, put together these events that can raise money, well-needed money for some pretty awesome causes. So it's been really cool. So I got involved with Russell Real Estate on their Make-A-Wish golf outing years back, and that feeling, I mean, we raised, north of $100,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Wow.
That one outing. And, that happened, and I was all in. I was totally locked in. It was such a good feeling, almost to the point where I couldn't sleep for like a week. I'm like, I cannot believe that just happened, know? And it's cool. So as long as it's a worthy cause and it benefits kids, I have such a good time putting together these gong shows and raising money for them. It's just, it's a good feeling. So, yeah, I just give back, why not?
Which one, what are you raising for in this one?
So, yeah, so the Bankers Cup Hockey Classic is for Project NICU. The golf has always benefited the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland. So, both of them actually use the money as they're supposed to, which I think is great. You can trust that it's A, going to the right place, and B, it's truly helping people. So it makes me feel great. But yeah, Project NICU is phenomenal. All the stuff they do for these families, stuff that we wouldn't even think unless you had to live in that, in that world for, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, sometimes, a couple of months. So, their money helps support the units. They have support groups for the families after the fact. That can have a pretty profound effect on, on a new parent's life, especially early on as you're becoming new parents and trying to figure out, everything, and you've got this to deal with. Your kids laying in this incubator for who knows how long. I mean, I can't imagine. We were lucky. My wife had 2 healthy, perfect pregnancies. So I can't relate to that world. Turns out I know quite a few people that have, and their stories are crazy. Like I cannot imagine being in those shoes. So, yeah, that's what it's all about.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a journey. So. And then watching these things blow up the way they have, like, good God.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about this earlier before we started recording. I mean, this year it's taking place downtown at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on the home ice of the Cleveland Monsters, which from where it was last year at a local ice arena, one of the bigger local ice arenas around here, to the biggest hockey arena in
it's crazy
Cleveland. I mean,
it's crazy. The Monsters have been phenomenal. They were going to partner up with us last year, but with COVID and the way that screwed up everything, as an organization, they could not put their name on any sort of event that was going to have north of, 50 people.
Right.
So On their end, they couldn't do it. Now that we're free and clear of everything, they said, let's go. So they've partnered up with us. It's going to be, like you said, at their arena. We've got the president of the Monsters, Jock Callender, who also won a Stanley Cup, is playing in the game. He played last year. Brett Harkins was with the Bruins. Played a lot of years with Jock. He's also playing in the game. A couple other ex-pros that played for the Monsters. Looks like one of them is actually going pro again come April, which is really cool because he's on my team.
There you go.
You better skate hard, Jake. But yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy the way this thing came to be. And just like the golf, it started as a joke. I mean, it really did. I got together with a group of people, and I said, hey, let me run something past you. What do you think if I tried to put together this? And then they really called me an idiot. I mean, that was all I needed to hear. Like, thank you for the reassurance.
Yeah.
This is going to be this thing's going to take off.
Let me show you how much of an idiot I am.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it went from what I thought was going to be, 10 or 15 guys running out a sheet of ice and just messing around to one sponsor coming in. Here comes another sponsor. Here comes another. And then I decided to just start branding everything and creating more sponsorships. I was literally forced to create sponsorships because we ran out of sponsorships. I'm like, all right, well, what can I put this? What can I brand with Bankers Cup and a company name? So that's that's where
You get a sleeve. You get a pocket.
I mean, no, for real. So
You get a puck.
It's so the one guy, Jake, who's playing in the game, he played pro hockey over in Europe, and if you ever watch the European leagues, they look like NASCARs on the ice.
They got
Branding
logos and patches everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
The NHL hasn't done that for a lot of reasons. But my thought was, I'm not the NHL, and if we're going to raise some money, we got to figure some stuff out. So I think the jerseys that they use over there look amazing as long as they're done right. So I went to a jersey manufacturer and said, this is what I'm looking at. I want it to be legit. How many patches can we put on these things? And they're like, all right, well, you should probably start with 5. So last year we did, 5 major sponsors. They were on the jerseys. This year we have a few more, along with, custom pants for the players and the socks that are also branded. And it's going to be really, really cool.
And the underwear, are those branded too?
Yes. I actually looked at branding jocks and cups.
Sweet. Is it on like the strap or just the cup? Or is it in the cup? Or
No,
is
we're
it
right
like
in
on
there.
Okay,
We are right on
So
top
like,
of everything.
especially
that
when
needs
you take
protecting.
them off and you go to the bathroom, you just like Stacy group is like what you're looking down.
Oh yeah, and then you can think to yourself, check out.
Kind of like those like
look at who's
urinal cakes, No, I'm just playing, Joe.
Hey.
I'm just joking, man.
You want to talk? You want to sit back and think to yourself, which company has my back? How about the company that's protecting your balls?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a
Exactly.
compliment.
That's the company I want to work with.
Joel, the only reason why I'm doing this is because you roasted me on social media. I was so vulnerable, and you just took advantage of me.
Joel, I got your back here. You can sponsor my jock anytime.
That one comes with a premium, though.
Wait, so
He's willing to pay.
how do I actually don't know this? How do the pros get put on a team? Is it through a draft, just like you would do normally with the other players, or
Kind of. So I'm glad you asked. We also put a draft in place. We have 2 GMs, designated GMs, to keep with the bankers versus lending theme, right? Yep. So this year, for instance, Joel Hollow is representing the agent team, and then we have Zach Mayer, who, by the way, is a phenomenal hockey player. I mean, I had no clue that we had so many good hockey players in our industry. Like, this kid's sick. So he's the GM for the lending team, and then they draft players one by one to level the playing field and make it a good game, right? The pros are drafted at the end. So, we've got 4 pros, 2 per side, and then we just go, you pick. And you can't really pick wrong because they're all ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know.
they're all pros.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
I want the blonde. No, I want the brunette.
Right.
Ponytail's mine. It's mine.
Hey, give me the guy with the mullet. That's all I want.
Actually, no, I don't
That's
want
how
the
you
guy
know
with the
he's gonna
mullet.
be
You
good.
can't grab his hair when I'm punching him.
your best bet? How I would do it is whoever has the least teeth is probably what I would.
Oh,
do.
yeah.
There we go.
That'd be my method.
I mean, that could either be a good or a bad thing, man. It either means you've lost or you've just got into
that
it.
just shows dedication.
There we go.
That's
Okay.
exactly what it
All
is.
right. Push, passion.
Yeah.
Even if you're on the ground or you're not, you jumped in there. That's all that matters.
So, this is funny. Jock is, of the pros, I think he's the oldest. He won the Stanley Cup with the Penguins back in '92 against my Blackhawks, which I tell him every time I talk to him, like, I hope you're happy, like crushing the dreams of hopes and kids. Like, I wasn't the same after that. But no, so they were out on the ice, and the guy's name's Rob Drago, and he does a lot of work with Berkshire Hathaway, and he's got a photography company as well. So Jockson lines up opposite him on the face-off, and he looks at Jock, and he's like, so I heard we're supposed to fight. Jock just looked at him, and he's like, it's your life. That was it. He's like, I just skated away and thought to myself, he didn't kill me. Thank God. So now, Jock was more or less kidding, but turns out Jock knows how to handle himself. I mean, he can throw down, and, you know, it's I hear we're supposed to fight. Yeah, well, you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I just want to put on a jersey, man. Just get back out there so I can get back like the cage days. I'll just run out there and just, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about before. I'm like, I could probably figure out how to ice skate.
You got to give me a
definitely-
cone.
I would definitely run into a wall to stop. I mean, that's standard, which is okay. But I think as soon as you put me against people, like, I'm gonna get rocked. Like, as soon as
I'll be
I-
out there with my
as soon as I
stick
get
and the little
checked,
practice cone.
As soon as I get
Slowly guiding
holding onto the practice cone. Don't hit me.
Why don't we?
What?
Why don't we do that? All right, listen. So this is actually a great idea. We should do something more along the lines of like the All-Star.
No.
No, like, you know, the All-Star game, they have like
You're
the,
bad influence,
they,
bro.
they have the little thing set up where people can come in, like the fans, like grab a stick with their shoes and like shoot pucks at a target. I mean, that'd be actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the MLB
I'll
All-Star
do it.
game, and they've got the
Like
you know,
the
the
fan
pitching-
experience
Yeah,
stuff.
we should do like a fan experience.
That'd be
Look
cool.
at Look at
That
those
was
ideas.
I'll end up
seriously, that would be
severely injuring
Actually,
myself.
what you should
would be
probably do,
phenomenal.
what you should probably do, is you should have like a puck shoot off and just have some of the sponsors donate an extra if you get like a puck hole in one, or if you get, I don't know,
a net in one.
net,
net in
I
one.
don't know, whatever it is, you know.
That's way too easy.
Actually, no, you got to put like that cardboard box where there's like that little slit.
So you know we're doing that, right?
Oh.
Well,
I thought I was
Such a good idea.
Apparently
They already
not.
thought about it.
great thinking. Let me explain. This is awesome. I did this last year, similar to a hole-in-one in golf. You know, you go out to a golf outing, you have the hole-in-one contest, right? And there's an insurance policy that's in place in case somebody dunks one and wins a car. I did the same thing with the hockey, similar to, you know, you get one person that goes out to center ice, they get a shot, and you have to bury it in the slats. With this, it's not that. We're going to draw one name. They get a shot from center ice to hit a post. And if you hit that post, you win a $20,000 vacation to anywhere in the world. Last year it was $15,000. I upped it to 20 this year because I think it's awesome. That was compliments of Redwood. Redwood Living. 20 grand.
I want to play.
That's 20 grand. You're eligible. The only people not eligible, because there are exclusions, are professional hockey players, juniors, college hockey players, and high school hockey players inside of that 5-year window.
So pretty much anybody that's on a team, you can't play.
Oh yeah. If you're playing hockey currently, you can enter the raffle. You're just not going to be able to shoot the puck. You're gonna have to pass it off to somebody who sucks.
Like me.
Fund my
Or Joel.
vacation.
Right. But yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. It's again, you know, this event, the hockey specifically, I wanted it to be more engaging for the industry. You know, any way that you can engage the fans, create something that you can bring spectators to. It's again it was kind of the purpose, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, and this is just a different way to get the fans involved and have a good time, and hopefully somebody rings a post, because
That'd be
that's what
awesome.
everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
I missed it last year, but I heard the guy missed by a mile, which is typical. But I was in the locker room taking a shower. This year,
there you go.
it's going. I'm going to make sure I'm there. So, but yeah, it's gonna be awesome, man.
Wait, who picked up? Didn't you say something big like Project NICU got involved and Fox 8 got involved? Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so Project NICU, you know, like we spoke about earlier, they were the charity that we were raising money for straight out of the gate, because they're phenomenal. They are the beneficiary again this year. I caught a text last night from Stasek, who said, "Hey, by the way, I forgot to tell you we're going on Fox 8 on Tuesday morning to talk about Bankers Cup." I'm like, "You're kidding me!" Like, let's, you know, because we were trying to get some sort of media attention on this thing, and it just happened. So Tuesday morning we're going live. Going live on Fox 8.
Make sure to check it out, everybody.
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
man.
Check me out. I'm gonna stutter.
Hey,
and
by the way,
this just in. You know? Yeah, no, it's gonna be really cool.
Joel, you do not get the branding on the jockstrap today. We got to go on Fox 8.
yeah, we'll take that one.
So you've already grown this pretty large. I mean, what are your goals to kind of make it even bigger for the following year?
The hockey game specifically, or Bankers Cup as a whole?
So right now, specifically the hockey game.
It's all about. I think at this point, a lot of the foundation pieces are in place. This thing's got some serious footing, and it's really snowballing, which is awesome to see and be a part of. I think next year, if we're going to up the ante, I mean, God, that's a good question. I tried getting the Blue Jackets involved this year, being that they're the NHL franchise that is, connected to the Monsters. I think a lot of it is going to, it's going to count on, some pros coming in and skating with us. I mean, I think the event, in order for this thing to grow, we have to put on a show. It has to be awesome. The fans have to love it. Last year, we had Kim Goodrick out there skating, who didn't know how to play hockey. Everybody loved him. So he was a fan favorite. Unfortunately, he's not with us this year. But I mean, I wish I could answer that question, because honestly, I may have hit a roadblock. This thing is blown up so fast that I'm not sure how we grow it unless we move it into different cities.
Well, that's one thing. Do you have any dream sponsorships, whether it's from big NHL teams or whether it's the equipment makers for those teams? I mean, what would your dream sponsorships be?
Oh man, a sponsorship by one of with one of the manufacturers would be phenomenal. I think I told you beforehand that Adidas, believe it or not, agreed to make the jerseys for us this year. It's a couple things happened because of COVID that prevented me from actually taking them up on that offer. But I mean, it was phenomenal to think that a company like Adidas, who doesn't work with anybody outside of they had two requirements: a $300,000 minimum order if you're going to work with Adidas, or you have to be a league. And I was not either. I'm not a league. I'm a game, and I don't have $300,000 worth of jerseys to order. And they took a look at this thing and said, "Yeah, we're gonna help out." Obviously, the cost of the jerseys will go up a little bit, but then with COVID, the being able to design the jerseys from the ground up wasn't possible. They had a few templates that you had to choose from, and I just didn't like the templates. I didn't like the colors, so went back out on my own with SP, who does a lot of really cool things for us, and they work with the NC2A, the Monsters. I mean, they're legit. So, but yeah, I mean, if we can get it would be awesome to have like Bauer, CCM.
Send everybody some fresh Bauer twigs. That would make it.
It would that is a game changer. You cut a deal with Mission. Their sticks are phenomenal. Any one of the big players in hockey, if they jumped on board, that's it. I mean, I'm just going to take a step back and say, we win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that'd be the next step.
Awesome.
It'd be phenomenal.
I feel like you, and I might be crazy for thinking this, but didn't you say you have? We're talking about growing it. Didn't you say you have some people coming from out of state to attend this game? And I know you're doing an event beforehand to kind of encourage people to do that. But yeah. I mean, do we have people coming out of state for this? Or?
We do. We have a few. We have Brandon Town, who is coming in from Ontario. He's an agent with EXP. We have our captain, Christine Patno, which, by the way, is awesome. She was drafted first overall and then named the captain of the lending team. I think that's phenomenal. She lives in Texas, so she's flying into town from Texas. And then Andy Spock with KW is somewhere, and I'm sure he's in a dark place right now, or snowboarding through a cave. He's in Colorado.
Is that the new name for it these days?
Oh, I mean,
he's in a cave, guys.
He's in a cave. He is,
He'll be back in a couple of years, guys.
Surveyors are one with the land. He is really one with the land. I mean, I think he literally built himself a hut out of twigs, and he's like in the Andes Mountains somewhere. But no, he moved to Colorado because he likes to shred. He's a really good snowboarder, and he does whitewater rafting. So I think he's doing instructing out there. But yeah, he's flying into town for it because he's a hockey player. He played last year. Cool. So yeah, three out of towners. Can't wait.
Nice. And then I have one last question. Is there ever a possibility of Bankers Cup golf being at Firestone out there in Akron?
There is. That's funny. I never told anybody this, but that came up 2 years ago.
Okay.
It landed on Firestone's radar, and a couple of guys asked me if we can move it over there. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know, the way that we golf, that might be
No, the way that you golf.
Wait, he
Are we
golfs.
talking
He's the one
about
with the
are we
golf
talking about
carts.
actually playing golf?
Are we
No,
talking? Are
no.
we talking about driving?
We're
the
talking the
cart?
golf etiquette.
We're talking about.
Yeah,
something
no. That's how you. Okay, no.
Are we
You
talking about
two,
the physical
you two.
game?
There's still a TikTok going around with all you hear is like Tommy screaming in the background, and I'm hitting, and then you hear is crash, and it's you and you.
I didn't do anything. I was parked. I
For
had to.
legal purposes, I know nothing about that.
I wasn't driving.
How about the one? What was it? Not Cooper's, but Copperhead. Not Copperhead.
Copper top.
Copper top.
Top. Yeah. Remember the?
Oh, the trash can was in my way.
What about the fence?
That was in my way too.
All right, we're not gonna go.
Yeah. Enough of that.
How much time do we have? I've got a funny story about golf outings.
Go ahead, man.
I stole a keg at one once.
What?
Yeah. So me and I was,
How do you steal a cake at a golf outing?
I'm going to tell you. gonna tell
what
you.
What do you put it in your fanny pack? I mean, what is?
Oh no. So me and Rick. I don't know if you ever met Rick. He's my boss forever. We were golfing down in Canton at it was either the Home Builders golf outing or one of the title industry golf outings. It was huge. Sells out in a matter of minutes. We were in there and we were golfing with the VP of First Merit Title at the time. And she was awesome. So it's me, Rick, Kelly, and she had her assistant there who was driving her own cart. Her name was Anita, and I called her Neats. So we didn't really have any way to like make ourselves stand out, right? So as we're coming up, we're probably 3 holes in, and we were just getting ready to make the turn. And I told Rick, I'm like, look at that line at the keg. And he's like, okay, what? What are you thinking? I'm like, we have an extra cart back here. What if I back it up, take the keg? He goes, don't even think about it. So we pull up there, and Rick's like, he gets out of the cart. He's like, I'm gonna go to the restroom. He's like, you stay in here, don't do a thing. As soon as he went, through the doors, I go, Neats. She looked at me. I'm like, let's go. So I jumped in her cart. We backed up. There's probably 15 people at the keg waiting, right? And we backed up the cart right next to it. And as soon as the guy was done with his thing, grabbed the keg out of the ice, lifted it up, threw it in the cart, strapped it in, and took off. And these people were pissed. And so we took off.
You think?
No, but this is awesome. we took off. Rick gets back. He sees that I'm not there, and then he sees the keg in the cart, and
The unhappy crowd.
He was not happy. He's like, "What in God's name are you doing?" I go, "Rick, just watch what happens next." Now we've got the beer. Guess who everybody has to go see for their drinks, and everybody wants to get bombed, right? So now we have people following us around. And after they were pissed, they thought it was hilarious. We got back to the clubhouse after the remainder of our tournament, and I swear to you, we walked in, and people started clapping and laughing, and I'm like, "See, Ricky, winning." Everybody went from going to the clubhouse for their beer to tracking us down and pouring it from the back of our cart. It was hysterical.
Like cart stands, like cake stands?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Cart stands.
And all I'm thinking to myself is, thank God that worked, because that could have gone poorly.
Yeah, it could have gone poorly.
But yeah. So
No, this is. I think we're gonna call it there. Chris, thanks for coming on, man.
good note to end on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great show
Absolutely.
to end on. Bottom line, I mean, the Bankers Cup, 13th of March. It's around 5:30. You said is when it starts. Monsters tickets included in with it.
Yeah.
Right, $25. We'll put the link in the description to buy your ticket. You got to show up, and if you don't show up, at least donate.
Yeah,
Support the
seriously,
cause.
donate, guys.
And I appreciate that. Yeah, it's for an amazing cause. It's an amazing event. We may top out. We may top 1,000 people at this thing this year, and it's right around the corner. Next Sunday, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and the link is simple to buy tickets. ClevelandMonsters.com/Bankers Cup, and that ticket gives you access to the Monsters game and the Bankers Cup. So it's going to be a good time.
Are you gonna so we're not gonna see you like the Zamboni or whatever it is with a keg, right? You're not gonna steal that, right?
No. Rather than having a keg on the Zamboni, I think we might park a couple kids out there.
Okay,
So
cool.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Although the keg sounds like a pretty decent idea.
All right, dad goals, right?
Dad goals.
Yeah, there we go.
I think we're
All
gonna
right.
send some kids out there.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
All right, man. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you guys.
All right.